Hey, everybody. Hey, before we get into it, please give me a thumbs up and let's subscribe. Thumbs up, not thumbs down. Thumbs up. And I'm back at you once again. This is Kaya Michelle, and I'm still going to talk about finances. But this time, I am going to talk about the 5 principles of financial faithfulness. Okay? Because whenever we're planning on making a change, you got to find the faith to stick with that plan. So number 1, in the financial principles of faithfulness with our finances, ultimately, we must realize that God is the owner and the creator of everything in this world. And according to his plan and his will for our life, our finances are going to be impacted. So that's the first thing we want to do. And if you want reference scriptures, we're going to go to first Titus 6 and 7. And then we're going to move over into Matthew 25 and 14. And then you have 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. So God has a plan. And right now, we know we're going through what man calls a recession. But remember, everything that man makes is temporary, because at the end of the day, the universe does not belong to man. So these are temporary circumstances and situations. So this is a great time to start building your faithfulness in your finances, okay? You want to begin to come up with a plan. And if you go back, I have videos that are tips to encourage you how to become recession proof, not only in your finances but in your relationship, because all of our relationships are being impacted by our finances each and every day. So you might as well start working on this. And I'm going to encourage you. I'm not going to dictate to you, but I'm going to encourage you to become faithful in your finances once again. Check that credit report. I know credit is a whole nother monster and a whole nother beast, but we can conquer that. We can defeat anything negative in our lives, because nothing is impossible. If you have faith, you can overcome it, okay? Now, number 2, we must understand or overstand that the wisdom of God brings us blessings each and every day. When I was growing up, things got slim a couple of times, crisis and stuff, but God always made a way. God always made a way, because my mother was faithful. My mother was faithful. We seen her praying, and we knew when a crisis was in the family, because my mother would come in and she would turn on her music. And my mother had a beautiful angelic voice. And she would start humming them old hymns. And the next thing we know, whatever it was taken care of. She got the means, the resources, everything. And it was taken care of. So we have to recognize that our faith also connects our finances. Those of little faith have little finances because they're reckless. They become reckless because they think, I'm not going to have any for tomorrow. But you know what? If you look outside, you never see anybody feeding the trees. And God always reminded us that we were made better for his purpose. And then the birds of the air, the fishes of the sea, and if God provides for them, what makes you think that God does not provide for you? And you can switch the word out. If you got a problem with God, you can say your creator. You can say the universe. It does not matter to me, because the principle still works the same. Okay? And then we want to move on to, and I'm going to give you, before I move on, let me give you some reference scriptures that you can look up, you can study yourself to build your faith for your finances. And we're first going to stop off at Psalms 3, and we're going to look at verses 5 through 10. Then we're going to move over to Deuteronomy, and we're going to go to chapter 28, and we're going to look at verses 1 through 14, okay? Because we want those blessings. God promised us that he would bless us each and every day, those daily blessings, and we don't even count from the time that we open up our eyes and put our feet on the floor. You don't know how many blessings you've already received. And sometimes we have to stop thinking that blessings are only connected to money, because wealth, you are wealthy already. You know, you just may be lacking some resources, but you know, money is a currency, and most people put their currency in a bank. And if you think about it in nature form, where do you find a bank? You find a bank on a river. Well, what is the river? It's water. So it's constantly flowing. So if you're faithful in the principles of your finances, then your finances will always be taken care of, and the currency will always be flowing into you instead of out of you, okay? So I want you to start making that connection. I want you to start thinking about yourself differently and staying faithful with your finances and stuff. Don't go out here trying to follow the celebrities, because what you may think that they're blessed in, they may be lacking in other places, and that's just a cover up. So don't ever look at somebody else and think God has not been there for you, okay? And then I want you to begin to exude your faith. I want you to walk in your faith. I want you to be thankful and grateful every day for the finances that you have, and believe. It says all things are possible to those who believe. And if you look at the word impossible, well, that word, I'm going to split it in half, is I and M. I'm possible. So if I'm possible, then I can increase my finances by being faithful, okay? Now, so we're going to go on, and I'm going to recommend number 4 now. This is my 4th tip, and we want to understand that prosperity is having what you need versus what you want. A lot of people think that God is not blessing them because they don't have what they want. But you know what? You could want $1 million, but that $1 million could ruin your life. And we've seen it so many times. It says, what is it that the man gains the world but loses his soul? So you want to prosper based upon your faith, and that you can handle that. A lot of people can't handle money. The pandemic showed us that. So you want to think about that. You want to be clear. You want to have a plan and stay faithful to that plan, that financial plan. Now, I ain't telling you to go sow all your money to Bishop Tuboleg at Greater Mount, Slab on the side of the road, Rock Baptist Catholic Missionary Holiness. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you need to be faithful with your finances. You can work. I'm encouraging everybody to start leaning more into God and not into man. Because, you know, God does not have a recession in his economic plan, because he tells us that my plans is to that your soul will prosper, that you will be in good health. So they're going to plan already. They're going to plan already. Okay, so we want to understand that all of our needs are being met every day versus our wants. But he even came back and said, I'll give you the desires of your heart. But that's based upon your faithfulness, okay? Because your finances is him giving you, and he's watching what you do with your finances. You are in stewardship. You know, it's like the parable, the 3 servants and the talents. And one servant were given 3 talents. And that servant went off and he prospered. He multiplied his talents. And then there was servant number 2, and he was given 2 talents. And he went off and prospered with those 2 talents. He multiplied it. He added on to it because he was faithful in what he received, okay? That's the key. But we have so many people who don't operate in faithfulness. They operate in fearfulness, okay? So instead of that third one taking that 1 talent and prospering it, he buried it. Now, you know, if you bury anything besides a seed, it's not going to grow. So when the master came back and he called them forth, the one with the 1 talent, he gave that talent to the one who prospered the most. So I'm saying, be grateful. God said he will supply all our needs on a daily basis, okay? So according to his will and his glory. So take what you got and start multiplying it. Don't worry about it. You know, a lot of people get caught up in that worrying thing, you know. And it says, don't get weary in your well-doing. So I'm just going to encourage you to stay faithful, okay, with your finances, okay? And you can be undergirded. And I want to encourage you to look at the scriptures to encourage you. Once again, we're going to go to Matthew, and that's going to be 28 and 20. We're going to stop by and talk to Isaiah 26 and 3. Then we're going to stop by Philippians 4:19, okay? And I think I forgot to give you the scriptures for tip number 3, so I'm going to just run back and get that to you. And we're going to stop off at 1 Corinthians, and that's going to be 10 and 31. To remember, your purpose in life is to glorify God, okay? And we're going to stop at Matthew again, and we're going to stop off at chapter 5, and we're going to look at verses 5 through 16 in that book. So I want you to remember that your whole purpose on life is to be a good steward, to help look at your neighbor as yourself, and to not cause anyone to stumble and fall because of you. And God's plan for your life is to prosper you and to have you in good health. So I want you to begin to take these tips and start making a plan to be more faithful in your finances. Sow a good seed of faith, water it, and watch it grow. And on the other side note, have a blessed one. And I want to again remind you, you can subscribe, and you definitely give me a thumbs up, okay? Thumbs up, yay!